Alright everybody, welcome back. So I figure many of y'all probably haven't seen this jet before, but it is the lowest rank and lowest battle rating jet in the game. This is the P-59A and it sits at 5.3 and it is rank 4. Now this is a marketplace vehicle and as of right now it is selling for almost $350. Precisely going for $347.99, which is pretty ridiculous for a plane. Now, this does give you a plane which has absolutely bonkers flight performance the battle rating is at. Now, like I said, it's the only jet at 5.3, and jets overall have better energy retention than props. Now, this plane in particular is pretty slow, comparatively. It is still faster than most of the planes of this battle rating, but it's not going to be like, like a P-80 or a MiG-9. Most of the time, you're going to be topping out at around 600 kilometers an hour or so in a straight line. Although you can push it higher if you really need to. Especially in a dive, it can hit up to like 750, 800-ish kilometers an hour, although I wouldn't really recommend it because it does compress. Now, what's your biggest advantage though? This plane can turn. Now, many of y'all are probably used to stuff like, your P-51s or P-47s, which can kind of turn, but they're not really the best at it. Your BF-109s, at least your early ones, and especially, your Russian planes, your Zeros, everything else are all going to easily turn inside of you. Yeah, the P-59 is not like that. As you can see, it has an absolutely bonkers turn radius, especially when you use flaps with it. Now, you are still going to get outturned by the light Zeros, you're going to get outturned by some Spitfires, other stuff like that. But for the most part, pretty much every prop plane you see that isn't one of those two things, you're going to be able to turn inside, while also being faster. You also get a pretty nice armament as well. Now, I'm not the best shot with a 37 mil, and it did get real shattered. So as you can see, I didn't just one-shot that BE-6. It took 2 hits to kill him. I'm also not the best at aiming it. But in any case, it does give you a pretty hard-hitting weapon. It may not be 100% reliable, but you're going to get quite a few one-shots just like that right there. And when you're shooting fighter-sized targets, especially, it is very, very competent. So the plane does come with some downsides as well. Now, this is one of the earliest jets. It is the earliest American jet, and that means that the engines aren't the most powerful thing. They're especially not good when it comes to low-speed thrust, climb and stuff like that. And you can see, I just kind of don't really have the speed right now. The engines just don't really have the thrust that you need at the lower speeds. Now, you do, get to abuse your low-speed turn when you're down there, but you just got to keep that in mind. Props and other stuff like that will be able to out-accelerate you. That's actually one of the reasons why they developed turboprops in the first place, for those of y'all who are familiar with like the Wyvern, for example, is because the low speed acceleration for jets was so poor back in the day. I actually recommend getting a little bit of altitude just because of that. I wouldn't climb a ton because jet engines do perform better at lower altitudes when they don't have an afterburner. But, at least like 2 or 3 kilometers or so, just enough that you can get your nose down to help, use gravity to help you get speed back. As you can see, I'm easily able to catch up to pretty much every plane in this lobby. This is a down tier in this case, which you do get relatively frequently. You get more 6.0 matches from my experience, like a ton of JA288s. And it's pretty good at killing JA288s. That 37 mil, even though it's not the most reliable, is still much better than, for example, 650 cals on a P-51, where they just had some on fire and they put it out. I hate JA288s. Anyways, you do also get 350 cal, speaking of which, and I would recommend running the APIT belt. That's the full tracer one. I believe they're the M20 shells, but since these are late war belts, they're very capable. They do a lot of damage when they set fires, and you can see even with only 3 of them, I'm going to easily set this guy on fire. Unfortunately, the kill does get taken by that P-47 who's shooting him at the same time, and you're going to have a lot of stuff like that. The 50 cals aren't the most reliable thing at one-shotting, and people at this VR, well, people in War Thunder in general, have no respect for, your kills, unfortunately. So, I do also recommend binding your controls to be able to fire your small and large caliber guns separately. You can see right there, I'm just spraying it with my 50 cals. I don't feel like wasting my 37 mil because that's a different velocity. In my case, I use left and right mouse button just to differentiate. It's not a necessity. You can get by with just having one button to fire in both, but personally I would recommend it, just because it's nice having the option of shooting one, if you really need it, of course. Now you can see there's another BF-109 coming up behind me, and this is one of the planes that you will have no issues whatsoever turning inside of. You can see I dropped my nose for a second just to get a little bit more speed, and I cut around and inside him, and I'm going to get a nice little stall shot into him right here and set him on fire. Now, remember how earlier I was saying that the fires don't always kill? Well, unfortunately for me, this one is not going to kill. And there is the kill steal that I was talking about from the Zero. So he's going to go ahead and put the fire out, and then the A6M5 is just going to go ahead and sweep in for the kill. So I don't even turn around for it. I'm a little frustrated, to be honest. I've had a ton of people stealing my kills in this plane. And it also doesn't help that, you know, a lot of the games I was getting 6.0, and I was only getting 6 people on either team, and they were like 4 of them were bombers. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and go back up for the Spitfire. This thing can definitely zoom climb. That's one of the nice things about it. Just like other jets. It's not quite as good at it because you don't get enough speed, really. But as I'm going up for this Spitfire, you get a little bit of a glimpse of just how hard it can turn if it really wants to. I'm going like 300. I'm able to sit behind this guy easily. I go up for the shot, and he hits the A6M5, who was also the one that kill stole me earlier. So, don't get that kill, unfortunately. But I do go back to base, grab some more fuel, grab some more ammo, and I'm going to go back in for this dogfight. Now, I don't know if you saw, but I'm actually running min fuel. I would usually recommend it just because that does really increase your performance in the dogfight. Now, it does depend on how big the map you're going to be on, but in most cases, 8 minutes of fuel is enough for me, just because this thing does not afterburn. So for the most part, you really don't have to worry about it. Here's a perfect example, though. This is an LF Spitfire. He does pull harder than me, but it's close enough that with proper flat management, I am able to pull inside of him right here and get a shot off. Now, if the guns actually did reliable damage, he would be dead right there. But luckily for me, the wing does very reliable damage, and that is that shot from the intro that I showed y'all earlier. So, now, I will say I'm not the best shot with this 37mm, but if you can get the hang of it, this plane is very fun to use, and it's great for this BR, especially with all the bombers around, because you're just able to intercept them just like that ME-264 right there. So, now, I do want to go ahead and do a little bit of channel admin stuff. So, for those of y'all who have been watching my videos for the last couple weeks, I was doing a giveaway. I had 5,000 subscribers, and I was so very grateful for y'all, so I gave away both a Rank 6 and a Rank 7 pack, and that was on my Discord. I had over 1,500 people enter. Now, the person who won the Rank 6 pack was Faded Anime, and he selected the F5C, and I figured I'd go ahead and show y'all a receipt as well, just in case, because I know there's been some issues with fake giveaways in the past from other creators. I'm not going to say any names. And then there's also a Rank 7 giveaway as well that I did. Now, with that one, just to be totally transparent, someone else won it first, and that was a guy named Agent Key. Now, I gave him 3 days to respond. He never responded, and I also did a community post, which he also didn't respond to or message me on Discord. So, after 72 hours or 3 days of waiting, I decided to go ahead and re-roll, and then Thule won. Thule went ahead and selected the F4S, and here is that receipt for him as well, just in case. So, I hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know, by the way, do you like being able to select your own pack, or would you prefer me doing, like, a specific pack giveaway in the future? I know some people like that when they know ahead of time. Personally, I think that being able to choose which pack you want is better, but just let me know in the comments down below what you think. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and, call it here for the day. I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I'll catch y'all next time. So, peace, y'all.